What kind of spa is this? I'm just trying to get a foot massage. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we're here with another reaction to Fallout. We're on season 2, episode 3, which is called The Profligate. Now that's not a word you hear every day. Expand your vocabulary. All right, last episode we had both Lucy and the Ghoul, as well as catching up with Maximus. On the Maximus side of things, we see that the Brotherhood has gotten their hands on a bunch of old tech, mainly weaponry, via Area 51, and they're basically planning to go to war with the what are they called? The Confederate. I can't remember the name of the Commonwealth. Is it the Commonwealth? Yeah, they're going up against them. And anyways, the point is they want to have all the control over the free world, I guess, using weapons to do it. And we see at the last minute that someone from the Commonwealth did in fact show up and was like, hey, like, we know you guys are talking, so what's up? And then on the Lucy side of things, Lucy and the Ghoul, they ran into these people who seemed like they needed help. And the Ghoul warned Lucy that these folks were not good folks and, you know, advised against her helping. But Lucy felt like he was just being his normal, shall we say, burly self. And she chose to help that person anyways, leaving the Ghoul to kind of suffer with some slow poison. And we left her with what looks like, unfortunately, maybe the Ghoul being right about these people leading Lucy to danger. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully my girl doesn't have to go through too many hard lessons here. Let's jump in and find out. Before I do, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Helps the girl out a lot, and leave comments below. I really do appreciate the interaction and I love to read those comments. And also a reminder that you can catch this reaction without any interruptions on my Patreon. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now.
Well, don't you know that's the sound
of the man, hey, working on the chain. Yeah.
You know what happens when you fall asleep on the job? Nothing good, that's for sure.
Wow, where is this place? There's a ghoul factory? Why are we doing child labor? They may be ghouls, but they're children.
Keep it up and you'll have big, gross, callous hands in no time.
Do you get calluses as a ghoul? I think it just falls off.
Why aren't you making money for me?
I don't know, because I'm not a slave?
I'm a ghoul. Carry over there. No, that's a ghoul. Little break here real quick, everybody. Okay.
Is this real? What is happening?
Roof over our heads, a very well-defended perimeter. What about water? You just drink the soda, right? Yeah.
Okay.
What do we always say? Most kids are dead by this age.
Oh God, if that's the motto we gotta go with. I hate it, but he's not 100% wrong though.
Keep up.
This doesn't look fun, Lucy. Yeah, they're all dressed in like Roman gear. Where'd they even find this? Where do you find cosplay? Ah, I got your sheet. Ha ha ha. You can sell those for caps, right? If I remember from season 1. But seriously, where are they getting cosplay gear in the apocalypse? This is a real question. Oh, guess that stim pack went to good use. Hey, Mac!
Away, profligate.
Hello! I am not home alone.
Do you mean Caesar?
They can't read.
I believe Kaisers were German, and you guys have more of a Roman theme. So, if I may, I'm a very...
We're negotiating the rights to your prima noctis.
Uh-huh. I don't speak Latin.
prima noctis.
I know prima's 1 or first. First night?
And you should know that I am not even a virgin. Not including
That's a guess!
at least a page or 2 on my resume. So, looks like we're out of options.
Mac's face. Really? Tell me about this cousin stuff.
We're at war.
With who?
Exactly.
The new
Everyone.
California Republic.
They're dead.
But first we must conquer the unrepentant members of Caesar's Legion.
Really? We're still calling it Kaiser?
We've been at war ever since over who should be his heir. He wrote down the name of his successor and placed it into his divine pocket. We are at a stalemate.
Okay. So this is really just a really twisted LARPing game.
Jeez.
Well, it went well.
Maps drawn by the dead. All that remains of America is the overwhelming evidence of its failure.
Oh, that's actually a bar.
If you think everyone else is the bad guy, chances are you're the bad guy.
Good is
Ooh,
not a
deep.
meaningful vector in history. Only strength.
Mac, why are you like this? You were such a sweet boy. Damn. Got you right in that thigh meat. Hey, look who came back. He's like, looks like you got yourself in a pickle.
Yeah, what? You take out one plank.
Even dog meat's like, mm-mm. You're doing great, sweetie.
This ain't no boat. It's just a...
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear a word you just said, bro. I'm too disgusted. That's disgusting. Well, no one can say that you're not a G, though. He was the G in Ghoul.
It's just been a while since I had someone worth talking to.
Aw, dog meat's like, I'm honored. What's going on? Is this after they broke up?
You okay?
No, fake smile in place.
I just hate leaving anything behind, you know.
Well, we may not have to, right?
The testing questions and no answer.
Well, I've got to go to this thing for Charlie.
That whole interaction, so interesting. I wonder if she ever picked up, because most attentive husbands are not going to be okay with their wife just crying over his teddy bear like that. There's more to it.
Half the guys in here have killed people. Maybe not the right ones.
War.
Robert House is just one person.
Is he? Brings up an interesting moral question, right? Just one person, but is one life not still equal to other lives? Even though this guy's clearly not a good guy, but...
I don't think America can afford any more corporate influence.
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to act like you actually care about what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I think whatever she took, the Xanax, the Percocet, whatever the 60s equivalent of that was a little too strong.
Pinko? Don't believe everything you read. But don't get me wrong.
Do not let that man get to the back of your neck.
It's their solution to the problem. Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Everyone trying to solve the same problem at the same time with a multitude of solutions. Messy, messy.
Why are you up behind me? I don't like this.
Because a vet would know better than to talk politics when a man has his dick in his hand.
Okay.
Till next time.
Something I didn't know. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. But yeah, he definitely knows. He definitely knows.
I'm not interested in fighting a rebellion, Quintus.
But the Brotherhood began as an act of rebellion.
Is she in the Brotherhood, though? She's a girl. I'm still confused about that.
Roger Maxon had to ask himself, who did he serve? His God? Or his government?
I was going to say we're men, but yeah, same.
Government had defied God, and for that, he defied his government.
That is what scripture says.
He was saved so that he could found our noble
Is it
order.
noble, though?
I don't go in for the religious stuff.
Damn. Ooh, she tall.
Give the cold fusion relic to the Commonwealth.
She said what she said. She's like, that's a very cute story, but I'm not trying to die. Cool, bye.
This Xander guy. I could just kill him.
Oh, is that the answer?
Behold, the dimness of the sword.
Oh, not him insulting you right in front of everyone.
And without the support of the other chapters, it will end with all our heads on spikes.
Yes, my lord, but if our cause is...
Yeah, isn't that what you just said?
For the thoughts of a sword.
There you go. But this is your daddy. This is who's looking out for you, right, Max? Okay. You gonna hear maybe what Dane's trying to tell you now? I feel you, bro. In a world like this, something to believe in would be beautiful, but you have to use discernment, man.
My arrival seems to have put a damper on the conversation. And I know every chapter of the Brotherhood is a little different, but this one sucks.
Facts, though.
You know, back east, it's guys like us who call the shots.
Ooh, another ego stroke.
Your clerics. What do they do? Stand around, give speeches.
Effectively.
We
manipulate.
Are the ones who bleed.
Mm-hmm. Damn, it's a good speech.
Just talk to me. What do you say?
He's like, well, Daddy yelled at me, so yeah, I'm in the mood to rebel.
Talk.
Ah, damn it, Maximus, you are kind of predictable with your emotions.
How's that golden rule working out for you now?
Don't gloat. Yeah, he's like, what the hell's going on here? Huh? Exactly. Who's in charge? Oh, an Asian Kaiser.
It looks like we got ourselves a civil war. What you think, dog?
Go help her, Ghoul. You know that she's effectively a child in this world.
I don't like her either.
You do.
But we gonna meet her down the line.
Oh, Jesus. I just realized we have power here.
Someone did a number on my numbers.
Oh.
Memory's all jimbled.
Is that right?
Clearly.
The NCR and the Legion going at each other like cats and dogs. Though now we got the Legion fighting the Legion like cats and dogs too.
Very true.
So,
Everybody's civil warring.
where's Robert House?
Oh.
He's gone. He had all the money in the world, but all he really wanted was to live forever.
But you should know better than anyone that House had a knack for planning ahead.
Oh, he had plans, all right.
Can you share?
He needed that cold fusion doodad from before the war.
Oh, I thought your memory was jimble-jambled. How very interesting. So Robert House effectively is probably who is behind the ghoul serum, but it didn't go quite the way that he planned.
Well, I should grab my... You don't need your armor. I got a spare you could use.
That's a lie.
They give you spares?
He's like, wait, y'all have money? Xander is not wrong in the sense of like the clerics clearly just look at these guys as meatheads, right? That they're not valuable outside of what they can do for them. So.
Oh, no. Here, let me give you control right now. Hold on. Just flip this way. Sure? Yeah. Okay. You
I'm waiting for when he's going to switch into cold mode. Definitely doing all this to get Maximus's guards down, and it's working.
Without that relic you found, we risk losing the Commonwealth. And if the Commonwealth falls, civilization won't last much longer.
Isn't that what the Brotherhood believes?
I trust your judgment, Maximus.
Oh, you are a
So should you.
top grade manipulator, Xander. Look at that. Daddy said you're dumb and you can't think for yourself. And Xander's like, oh, you're so smart. I trust you. You've got good judgment.
It's what we do. This is what we get to do.
Oh, it's the first genuine smile Maximus has had since last season. He always just didn't want to be a knight, so. Bump it.
Yeah.
Oh, Maximus and Lucy are literally peas in a pod. So naive. Bless them.
Stop! Don't hurt him!
Why not?
This school and the NCR go way back.
Right? Like, calm down, young one. He's like, you're such a dickhead.
Up here, it's just us. We've been cut off from reinforcements for more than a decade.
Oh, God. Why are you still here?
We could still get to them.
Shady Sands. You do know that was over 20 years ago, right?
Uh-oh. Don't break the illusion.
The good guys would prevail in the great state of Nevada.
We're winning the war.
Are we?
Well, if this is winning, I would hate to see what...
Right? Like, respectfully, it's not looking great, sis. Getting a little low on that serum, huh?
Help us
Aw.
before we're captured.
It's a good deal, and you know you need him.
Because there ain't nobody left.
Yeah, you need to tell her the truth. I think he was going to tell her anyway.
If something's dead, it's usually because it deserved to die.
Damn. Isn't that true?
All right, bro.
Let's do this.
He wasn't lying. He really did have a spare suit.
Would you prefer a neck or foot massage today?
Foot?
Relaxation imminent.
Damn, what kind of spa is this? I'm just trying to get a foot massage. Y'all talk about protocols and
That's all you got?
Well, he's been shooting you up, pal, so maybe it's not so bad. Yes, boys will be boys no matter what the time period or world.
You want to turn with this? Wow, you think you hot dog.
Dude bros. Well, they bonded. Are you hallucinating already? You've only been up there half a day. It's kind of like ironic that she said to the ghoul that he has to sit there and contemplate his decisions and his actions. And now here's Lucy effectively, quite literally having to sit and think about the consequences of her actions.
Well, I understand that the Legion ain't fans of the linear progression of time, or the soft sea for that matter.
Right?
But I bet you still understand cause and effect.
You're using words they don't know.
Or you could exterminate the last holdout of the new California Republic.
You're a bad man, ghoul.
And I don't know if this poor damn grunt is dead or alive.
Yeah, I knew it was him when I heard the last name White Knife. Indigenous people have some of the coolest last names.
We don't get the privilege of knowing. We just have to go off of what they told us.
What did I say about militaries?
And I guarantee you, the guys on the other side got told the same shit.
Thank you for I love when people tell the reality of war. You got two sides both being told that the other is evil. Who's right?
So,
commemorative lighting.
congratulations, Corporal.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Seems interesting considering what veterans have sacrificed and still continue to sacrifice when they get home and deal with all the PTSD.
They gave that to me for saving a man. Not for killing the three it took to do it.
Ooh, and this is what we're doing right now for Lucy, right? Those last bastion of the North Guard, the NCR, for Lucy's life. Still has it. You're sentimental, as much as you don't want to believe you are.
I don't know, maybe something good. Maybe something stupid.
Did you do that? He started the war, so maybe he didn't give up the NCR? It's a lot of lives, but okay. I'm not anything because we have no idea if he actually gave the real location either. It's a hard decision, but someone had to go, unfortunately. I do not want to play spin the bottle with anybody in this world. Oh, I didn't realize we were at the bottle factory. It's a baby.
We're your friends. But there's one, there's always another.
There's human babies in here too.
Don't worry. We're not going to
He's
hurt
totally
you.
going to massacre these kids.
Were you guys playing hide and seek? I love that game.
There's human kids in here.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're okay.
Yeah, you're all.
They won't be. You know what this man's about to do.
Hey, wait, Xander.
You not figuring out what he did? Did it took you this long?
If I may, I'm the manager here, and I just asked you.
You remember him, Max?
They're not kids. They're abominations.
And so are you.
The Codex is clear on this.
And without the rules, where are we?
Fuck the Codex, Xander. Listen to me. No.
Nah, he's not listening to you, fan. Bye, Xander. You did the right thing, but you can't go home now. Oh, Camille, I was just starting to like you. Remember me? You owe me twice now.
What you been up to?
Sitting around in a suit.
I think I just started a war.
Sure did.
I'm the floor manager here. So it sounds like we both got a lot going on right now.
They are out of control with all this music afterwards. This nice, happy music after such a dark ending to the episode. Okay, guys, well, that was The Profligate. And once again, following both Lucy and Max in this, and actually a little bit of the Ghoul, more history about what kind of led us up to this point. And I think we'll talk a little bit about, well, there's not much about Lucy, actually, because Lucy just, unfortunately, her golden rule did not come back to her the way that she would have liked. I will say this, the girl she saved, I don't think had a lot of choice, unfortunately. Like, it looks like she was a slave or a very low-ranking person in the, what did they call it? The the Legion. And so we saw that, unfortunately, for all the work that Lucy did to save her, she ended up getting killed anyways. And so that, of course, I'm sure was like Lucy, like, damn, not the way I thought that was going to turn out. Again, I don't blame Lucy for trying to help her. I saw in my comments that some people are like, Lucy's an idiot. This is all her. You know, none of this is the ghoul's fault. In the last episode, I didn't mean to make it sound like any of it was necessarily the ghoul's fault. What I meant to say is that the ghoul is so far into his lack of empathy. Like, he has no love for humanity at the moment. He is so far into his apathy. Instead of empathy, he has apathy. He's very nihilistic. Like, he just has one singular focus that's keeping him alive right now, and that's to find his family. He doesn't care about anything else, and that's not a healthy way to be, right? Underneath all that decaying body, he is still technically a human. So that is too far. And Lucy has already seen him be so just completely devoid of any form of compassion that's why she doesn't really trust his judgment anymore when he says, hey, screw those people. Because she's like, okay, and what if they need help? Like, maybe you shouldn't say screw those people, right? I mean, if she'd gone with everything the ghoul had said or went with his school of thinking, they probably would not be as far as they are right now, right? Lucy having that compassion and that empathy is not always a bad thing. But I do understand that, yes, she is very naive, however, right? That's the part where she's got that hubris of just believing that she's right and her way is right no matter what, and not listening to the fact that the ghoul does in fact have 200 years of experience on the surface. So there are groups and experiences she just has never had, and she should trust him to some degree when he says, hey, Lucy, not these people. Like, we don't want to get involved. It's probably not going to end well, right? So anyways, all that to say that she recognized when she showed up. I mean, listen, she had a good argument, bless her, when she got there and was dealing with these people, but you know, there's no reasoning, right? This Legion, you can see very much is just all about their warmongering and just getting by day to day like many people on the surface are. Their world is all about this stupid mini civil war that they've created, and of course suppressing anything around them that could try to stop them from what they're doing. So unfortunately, Lucy's words fell on deaf ears, and she ended up, I mean, she should be, like I said, it sucks, but the crucifixion at least was a kind way that they put her up. Like, you saw that, you know, they could have just slit her throat. They could have done so many other horrible things, and thankfully at least they put her up there. Is it a slow and horrible way to die? Yes, but the point, keyword there, slow. It's slow. She still has a chance to make it out of it. So thankfully that was the case, and we see that the ghoul had to help himself, you know, lost a chunk of flesh, but he survived. And as some people mentioned in my comments last week as well, and I said this too, that, you know, the ghoul, he needs Lucy, right? He needs that Pip-Boy on her arm. He's not really willing to let her go just like that. But as I said, I also think that he does care about her. He doesn't want to. He's resisting that hard, but he does care. I think he hasn't realized how nice it is to have companionship. And like that speech he gave to Dogmeat when he was, you know, recovering from his surgery, it very much was like he was kind of saying about Lucy, right? You know, it wasn't just Dogmeat. He was talking by extension about Lucy, that it's nice to have someone to talk to again. Because we're humans, we're social creatures by nature. We're not meant to be solitary, right? So as much as he thinks he doesn't need anybody anytime, it's just not true. And as much as he doesn't want to admit it either, subconsciously, he's very grateful that he's got Lucy around. He does like having this, you know, the constant noise box that's her. And even though she does drive him crazy, it's a person, it's a human, and someone that he knows for the most part does not have any desire to do him ill will. And that's also something that I don't think he's even said out loud either. Like, it is nice to have somebody that he can know is not going to hurt him. He knows that Lucy is intrinsically a good person and doesn't hurt people unless she has no choice. So that's got to be a real relief in a world like this after 200 years of people trying to get to him. So anyway, that was Lucy for the most part, right? She had to sit there and quite literally think about her choices. And would she do it again? I'm not gonna lie, I feel like she probably still would have tried to help those people. That's just Lucy. But hopefully now going forward, what will happen is that if the ghoul really gives her like a, we can't do this, she'll listen. You know, hopefully now she'll be like, all right, you know what? Maybe I gotta listen. That's the hard part. Lucy's gotta understand you can't save everyone in this world. It's a great notion. It's a wonderful sentiment, but it's not possible. Some of these people cannot be saved. Some of these people should not be saved because it will involve you losing your life trying to do it. And in this case, unfortunately, it didn't even work out. She lost the girl anyway. So that was basically Lucy. Then moving on to Maximus. He was the other kind of shorter part of the episode. Maximus, you know, he he's realizing that what Dane told him is true. He was feeling so good at the beginning of episode 2 because he felt like, he was doing the right thing. He was getting accolades from his father. He was feeling like the cause he was, working towards was maybe doing the right thing. And I mentioned in the episode that in a world like this, and is considering how much Maximus has gone through in his life as far as losing the kind of people that could have been a good moral compass for him, he just is looking for something to latch onto. And again, seeing the flashback last episode where Maximus's father said, "You're a good boy, you're going to grow into a good man." I really think that that's something that Maximus has held as a North Star in his life. And that's what he's trying to do. Like outside of surviving, which is the first and foremost thing, he really wants to be a good man. And it seemed like on paper, the Brotherhood sounds like that's the right thing, right? That's the way to be a good person in this world, right? So I do feel like Maximus is always just kind of looking for that validation of being the kind of person that his parents wanted him to be and who he ultimately wants to be. Hence his obsession with becoming a knight and all those things that he thought represented that kind of good person, good man, hero type mentality. But, after Dane kind of popped that bubble a little last episode, and again, between the fight and then seeing the way that his dad responded to it, and then this episode where, Maximus, of course, feeling a little bit of, feeling a little confident because he got patted on the back last episode. He was like, "Well, yeah, I got a suggestion. We can just do this." And his dad not only tells him to keep his mouth shut, but in front of everyone basically says, "You're a dumb sword. I don't listen to you. You have no thoughts that are worth listening to. Get out of my face. You're here for one reason only. So get out." So, Maximus crushed, right? Because he really thought he was, being valued. He really thought he was going the right direction. And, sadly, he wanted to have that, parental type figure pat him on the head, and now to be disregarded and basically said that your contribution's only as good as what I say it is. That's hurtful, right? And so anyway, we see that that's when Xander decided to snake right in there and find somebody he could finally potentially manipulate. And yeah, sadly, Maximus is the one. Not because Maximus is necessarily dumb, but much like Lucy, he's naive. He's someone who wants to believe in people. And again, is it a bad thing? Not necessarily. However, one could say for Maximus, it's almost a little bit worse because he has been on the surface all this time, but he's been fairly sheltered, right? Because the Brotherhood grabbed him very young. So it's not like he's been out there, but still, one would think that he would have a little bit more discernment around that type of thing, but he really doesn't. Like Maximus is very susceptible to manipulation, and that saddens me. But usually people who are like that, it's because they're very naive, and that's Maximus. That's why I said him and Lucy are kind of a match made in heaven or hell. On a high level, like in general, it's not a bad thing for them to be so good-hearted and caring, but in this world, it's a match made in hell because it's a world that is just not meant for you to be naive. It's not good for you. So anyway, we see that, Xander plays Maximus like a violin, right? Once he sees that Maximus is a little disgruntled and he figures out that, poking that ego again with him saying, "Oh, we're the swords. We're the one out there bleeding. Those clerics, they're just sitting up there in their big chairs telling us what to do. We're the ones who make all the hard decisions. We're the ones who have to do all the work, and where I come from, we make the decisions. You wouldn't have to listen to a guy like him, right?" And of course, Maximus, who's fully butthurt right now because of his ego, that's just music to his ears, right? So Xander just reels him right in with that speech and takes him out on the bird. And, again, this is kind of the one thing that this is kind of the one thing that Maximus genuinely enjoys is the knight stuff, right? He loves being in the suit. He loves fighting. He loves doing what he thinks is protecting people with that suit. So that's just like a great experience for him for the most part. And honestly, if they hadn't stopped to do that little side mission that they did, Maximus, I think, would have fully done whatever Xander told him to do. He would have absolutely turned on the Brotherhood. He would have absolutely stolen the relic, or tried to steal the relic and brought it back to Xander without question, because he was just reeled all the way in. Like I said, he was, "Oh, we're brother." I'm using the hot dog phrase, like everything. He was just, as I said, it breaks my heart because Maximus really just wants to feel like he belongs somewhere. He just really wants someone to be, giving him that nod of approval. And he just ate that up. He didn't even know Xander. And he's just, he's eating it all up because he wants it so badly and wants that companionship as well, right? Maximus doesn't like to be alone. But anyway, we see that unfortunately that mission that they go on goes sideways. At first, he thinks it's just, okay, we're taking out some robots, not a big deal. But it turns out it's the factory where the ghoul from last season, that's such an interesting tie-in, is there running this bottle factory, making the soda. I don't know, no idea who's buying it, but all these kids are there working. And as I said, the child labor, disturbing. But unfortunately in this world, I feel like out of all the things these kids could be into, this is probably the least terrible. At least it's not super bad, like super dangerous work that they're doing. And we see there's a mixture of kids who are still human and a mixture of kids that are ghouls. And yeah, unfortunately, Xander, he finds them and he does not see them as human. He doesn't see them as even living. And we see that at first I thought he was going to mow everybody down, but it looks like at the very least, I mean, I don't even know if I could, like, is that even something to compliment? He was at least separating the human children. But we see that the ghoul, the new ghoul from last season, he stands up for the kids. He's like, please, like, they're children. Like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to kill them. Like, they're not hurting anybody. We're just here. Like, you can just leave. Right? We're not hurting anybody. And we see that Xander, again, this is where I said it, right? I'm like, he's so happy-go-lucky. The veneer is going to fall at some point. The real dark underbelly is going to pop up at some point, and this is where it came out in this case. You know, the codex is clear. They're abominations. You're an abomination. You don't mean anything. End of. And I understand why a lot of these must exist, like the rules around taking out the ghouls. We saw last season what happens when these ghouls get to a point where they don't have that medicine anymore. It's not a pretty end. They do descend into a form of madness. I get where these codex rules may have come from, but in this case, these were kids and they weren't a problem and they weren't hurting anybody and they were literally just trying to exist. So to do that and also traumatize those human children by watching these kids that they've lived alongside for God knows how long be mowed down was unnecessary. He didn't need to do it. And so we see that my boy Maximus, he just couldn't do it. Like, he was like, whoa, like, these are children. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we standing for? You just talked about how we're the good guys an hour ago, and now you're ready to mow down children. And smile. You're giggling about it. You're cackling. You're happy, right? And like the fact that he's just going to do it right, like, oh, let's like turning it into this sick little game. So yeah, Maximus saw real quick that, oh, wow, okay, this is not it. This guy is not it. This is not it. And he made an executive decision, right? He could have let it go because technically he would be following the said codex that he swore to, but his conscience, his morality said, I can't do it. And much like that speech, we heard the religious speech that his father gave earlier when he was trying to keep that one captain from leaving the rebellion, when he said that, listen, you know, this guy, this Maxim guy, he chose, you know, he was part of the part of the Commonwealth, sorry. But when he came and saw that there was something that was wrong and he knew it was wrong, instead of following the government, he chose to follow his God, or you could sub that with principles or his morals. And so that's literally the position that Maximus was put in this episode. Do I follow the government, or in this case, the Brotherhood? Do I follow Father who said I can't touch this guy because it'll cause a war? Or do I go with my conscience that's telling me that it's wrong to kill a bunch of children? No matter what this codex says, it's wrong and it's not necessary. And we see that in the end, he chose his conscience. He chose his morals instead. And yeah, unfortunately killed someone from the Commonwealth. So that's absolutely going to have ramifications. That is absolutely going to have a ripple effect. And yeah, a civil war may kick off, but I think it was going to happen regardless. It was going to happen regardless because we know that they weren't going to give up the relic. And even if somehow Maximus managed to sneak that relic out, I think it would have caused an all-out pursuit anyways. So yeah, I mean, is it sad that Maximus had to be the one to kick off, which might be this very ugly chain of events? Yes, but was it going to happen regardless? I believe it would have. So that's Maximus. He now has to figure out what he's going to do. Does he go back to base? Does he run? He doesn't really have anything right now to run with. I personally I'm voting for running. I think he should leave and just do his best like he did last season to just stay out there. Actually he could because he still has the bird, which is the Commonwealth's bird. It's not the Brotherhood's, and the suit he's wearing is not his suit, so I don't think they can track it. He might actually be able to go, guys. He might actually be able to run. I don't know how many supplies are in that bird, but vertibird, is that what they call them? Yeah. I'm just saying, I think he should run. I think he's got the ability to run. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, poor Maximus, but good for him for standing on his principles. Good for him for sticking up for what he believes in and not just letting himself fall into this twisted web of what the Brotherhood's trying to weave, and the Commonwealth, I guess, by extension here. And then finally, we have the Ghoul. Lots of flashbacks of the Ghoul and, you know, kind of his mission to follow Robert House and to effectively assassinate Robin House, because he was probably the only person who would get close enough to do that. And he was wrestling with that decision in the past. We see, you know, watching his wife who was preparing for the vault, him having to pretend that he didn't know what his wife was up to. You know, like I said, that whole scene of, you know, when she's trying to pack the teddy bear, just brilliant. And I love the way they did that in the last episode and this one. You know, seeing how Cooper is always playing this game of like, you know, Cooper knows the truth, but he can't let his wife know he knows the truth, but he wants her to tell him the truth, and her knowing that she's not telling Coop the truth, but she wants to tell Coop the truth, but she knows that she can't because he's not going to understand. Like that little dance, that delicate dance that they're having right now while they're very clearly worlds apart, but wanting to be closer together. I just think they're doing such a good job because they're not big scenes, they're not long scenes, but I think both actors are killing it in just showing this fragile, just fake tableau that they're playing out right now while they're both lying to each other effectively, but not wanting to, and still loving each other very much in the midst of it all. But anyway, we see that later on when Cooper is still struggling with this decision. He meets up with his friend Charlie, and Charlie, as we know, is part of this whole rebellion that's, you know, trying to form against what is about to happen with Vault-Tec. And we see that rightfully, you know, Cooper's like, I don't know, like you're telling me to just take someone out. Like there's a big difference between assassinating a man in life versus being on a battlefield where we're being dictated to do this because of a war situation, right? Like these are two different scenarios. And Charlie kind of challenges, like, is it though? Like we were out there, and again, the speech he gives him when he's receiving his award is very much talking to this moral question with Coop when he's like, you know, we were told, we were given orders. People that we didn't see, that we didn't know, told us that we had to do these things, and they told us we were doing the right thing. And there's a very good chance that the people on the other side are getting the exact same thing. And all we can do on each side is pray that we're on the right side, that we're protecting the right things, and that this is for the right cause, because we really don't know. And yeah, as I said, very realistic bars about war. And, you know, he kind of looked and he's like, are we, like, that's all we can do? Like, and he said that to Coop as well about, you know, Robert is one man. What he's about to do is going to affect billions. Is one man, like, is your conscience really going to be that upset, or can you really not go past this issue to take out one man for the lives of billions, right? So there's always that cost, right? And I think it's always ever the moral question, you know, is it okay to sacrifice one life if it means saving billions? Is that the right answer? What if that, I mean, in this case, Robert House, a billionaire, you know, probably selfish, stuffy asshole, doesn't feel so bad to do that, right? But what if it's a child? You've probably seen there's been a lot of movies and books about the side of like, what if you could go back in time and you find the child, and this child's going to eventually grow into somebody who destroys the world, but you could end it by taking out this kid. Is that okay? Are you okay? Can you do that? Can you take out a child, even though that feels morally absolutely reprehensible if you know that the cost is saving everyone, right? As some people would say, yeah, I would do it. Other people, no, I don't think I could, right? Like these are the kind of things that are kind of being brought up with this question. And then of course we see that it parallels what the ghoul is going through currently, where, you know, Lucy's gotten herself in a pickle again, and he sees that I need to get her back, but he's like, I'm damn good, but I know my limits. I can't take on 2 camps of the Legion and save her. So I got to come up with a plan B. And so he goes, he tries to find NCR. He finds out NCR is effectively gone. They've been wiped out between all the battles of the Legion. Obviously, Shady Sands has been gone for a long time. And then he's got this one outpost that's left, but there's literally 2 people. 2 people left in this entire outpost, and they're old, like bless them, they're older. So yeah, and she's like, yeah, I know there's other people out there. We just got to get word out, but we can't get out because the Legion keeps blocking us. And the ghoul's kind of like, are you okay? Like, there's 2 of you, way more of them. You're both old as shit, and you're talking about Shady Sands like it was yesterday when it was 20 years ago. Like, your guys are being wiped out. And let's not forget last season that the ghoul took out, between the ghoul and the Brotherhood, they took out a good chunk of the remnant of what was left. So there really is not much left of the New California Republic. They've effectively been wiped out. These 2 may very well be the last, or very close to last. So once he realizes that using them as backup is not going to work, the ghoul's like, okay, well, I gotta make a decision here, right? He tells them, and I mean, it sounded harsh, but I agreed with what he told me. He's like, there is no help coming. Like, there's no one. There's no outposts for miles. Most of y'all have been wiped out. And again, I don't think he didn't tell them about the fact that last season he wiped out a good chunk of them that were left, including Moldova, whatever her name is. So I think at that point, he's like, let me not even bother telling them that, because it's already depressing enough, right? So he leaves, just basically is like kind of giving them without saying it, he's saying, give up. Like, if there's any semblance of y'all finding a life out here, go find it. NCR effectively is dead. If you keep waiting for them, you're going to die waiting for them, right? So he goes back, and we see that to get Lucy back, he decides to trade, right? Because that's the best thing he's got to not battle these guys. He's like, I'll tell you where the last remnant of the NCR is. And of course, the Legion has no idea that there's only 2 left, because they probably wouldn't have even bothered if they'd known that. But he's like, I'll tell you where they are, you know, in exchange, you give me this girl. And it worked. We see that he set up a little backup plan there. and when he saw that they had barrels of dynamite. And yeah, once they got clear of the camp, you know, Lucy thanks him, as she should. But he's like, don't thank me yet, because when you find out the price I paid for you, you may not like it. You know, knowing Lucy, he knows Lucy's not going to be like, Lucy would never have agreed, right? The Lucy we know right now would never have agreed to save her own life at the expense of so many others. But the Ghoul basically is like, don't thank me yet, because like he said, I don't know if I made a good decision or a bad decision today. Like, you're worth it to me. You are valuable to me right now. But there was a lot of lives in that camp who, much like that girl, are probably there against their will. And now they're dead, right? If they didn't die in the blast, the civil war between the two sides has started. They're probably going to wipe out the majority of each other in that battle. And again, if he did in fact give the real coordinates of the NCR, they may go after them in yet too. So that's a lot of lives to save Lucy's in a situation that could have been avoided if Lucy had listened. But all that to say that, yeah, like that, again, it just comes back to that moral decision again. Like, was it worth it? Should he have sacrificed all the lives in that camp of people that, you know, from the outside, it looks like it wouldn't have been so bad for a lot of them to die. But as I said, we saw there was a lot of slaves there, a lot of people who were probably being held against their will, and they are probably all going to die now because of this too. So again, it just comes back to that moral question. Was Lucy's one life worth all of those? Lucy wouldn't have thought so. The Ghoul, you know, where he's at right now, he probably logically says yes, but I love that it shows that he still does have these moral questions. He still does have these moments where he's like, damn, this is hard. And I don't like this, right? As much as he tries to act like his emotions are dead, they're very much still there, as is his conscience, seared as it may be. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, he got Lucy out. I don't know if he will tell her the full truth of the cost of her getting out of that camp. He may, but at this point, I think Lucy, as I said, she does have to adapt. As the guy last season said, Dogmeat's original owner, she's gonna have to adapt to this world, which means that, you know, in some cases, she's gonna have to be a little bit more morally flexible. Again, I don't want Lucy to lose her core principle of caring about people and intrinsically believing that people are good, but she definitely needs to toughen up, and she needs to recognize she can't live the life that she lived in the vault out here. It just isn't compatible. Incompatible. So yeah, another good episode. A little bit more of a, you know, the asking deeper moral questions, having two characters have to make some deep moral decisions here. And yeah, the fallout of what those decisions are going to be. Like, as far as the ghouls, I don't think there's going to be much outside of the death of those people. But for Maximus, he made a pretty huge choice this episode. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this is all going to ripple out as we continue towards Vegas. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.